Welcome back to the Talking Sports podcast, hosted by Peter DiBiasi and John Rocco Trumpbour, right here on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. Guys, it's another edition of the Talking Sports podcast, and we are happy you guys are joining us and breaking down some of the NBA finals. This is the first time we've done an NBA video in a couple months. The last one we did was actually not a couple months. I broke down the NBA playoffs, and I gave you my predictions for that. I was kind of off on that just a little bit. But yeah, we're breaking down the NBA finals, the matchup between the Golden State Warriors and the Boston Celtics. But before we do that, JR, where can everyone find us on the internet?
Hey guys, follow us on Talking Sports PD at Talking Sports PD on Instagram and Twitter. We've been posting a lot of content. We did our first soccer video last week. So more to come with that. Me and Pete were actually both right, which is pretty cool. But yeah, Talking Sports PD on Instagram and Twitter. And please don't forget to subscribe if you're watching this. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, Jared, and guys, Apple Podcasts as always, Talking Sports Podcast on Apple Podcast, as always, Twitter, Instagram, like we always say. But Jared, that video kind of popped. 4.7, I think, views, so over 4,500 views on a soccer video. The one before that was 4.2 videos. NFL mock draft. So you guys are doing great. Over 200 likes on both videos. So
shout out to you guys.
Thank you. We appreciate everyone watching. Two idiots talk about sports for 20, 30 minutes. So, hey, we appreciate you guys. So keep guys doing that. And like I always say, before you watch the video, we're talking about the NBA finals. So obviously we're going to break down the finals, give you our thoughts and opinions on that. And obviously we're going to give you our picks at the end. But I want to hear you guys' picks. So down below, who do you got in the NBA finals? You riding Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors or Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics? Let us know down below in the comment section. But now it's our time. Boston Celtics, Golden State Warriors, JR. The Warriors defeated the Dallas Mavericks in 5. The Boston Celtics obviously just defeated the Miami Heat in 7. So they're a little, I guess, less rested. But let's just start here, man. Where do you want to start? Celtics, Warriors, the whole matchup. Where do you want to start?
Yeah, so I say let's start talking about the matchup between those two teams. Obviously, the Warriors had a little bit more rest. They probably have a week off. I don't think that's going to matter down the stretch. Because when you're playing basketball, sometimes rest isn't a good thing because you lose your rhythm. But yeah, for the Warriors, I would have to say their most troubled game came from the Memphis Grizzlies. And that was due to interior defense, and because of Jaren Jackson, he got 15 blocks that series. So when I'm comparing the Grizzlies to the Celtics, I think they have Robert Williams and Al Horford, who have been averaging over. Robert Williams has 2 blocks a game, then Al Horford has 1.1. So they both have over 1 and 2 blocks. So that's going to be really crucial for the Celtics. And that just emphasizes, I think the Celtics have ranked a top 5 defense this season.
Yeah, they're probably one of the best defensive teams.
Yeah, so that's going to come, and it's going to come down defensive wise. It's probably going to be one of the Warriors' hardest matchups in this playoffs. Besides the Mavericks, I know the Mavericks had a good defense. They also played at a different rhythm and had a different kind of roster. So yeah, I think defense is going to be a huge key in this game. Yeah, I'm
looking at the stats for the Boston Celtics. Horford, you said 1.6 blocks. Robert Williams, looking at 1.9 blocks. Obviously, his health and Marcus Smart's health is very important. It was iffy because it was always a game time decision, and obviously that's good that they're playing, but obviously they're not fully healthy, and a little tweak here or there could put them out for the series or a game or two, and obviously that could be costly, as we know. The Celtics interior defense is, I would say, if you're rooting for the Warriors, or you're trying to pick the Warriors, or you're a Warriors fan, or just the Warriors in general, a little troublesome because the Celtics are a physical team down low. You have Tatum and Brown, who are very solid defenders. Marcus Smart's a pain in on the perimeter. He'll be going against Steph Curry, you would assume.
Yeah, definitely.
Derek White is no slouch on the defensive end. Like we said, Grant Williams is a big body on defense. The Celtics can defend. They can very much defend. So could the Miami Heat, and that's why that was a low-scoring game. The one thing with the Celtics, and we'll stay on the Celtics for a little bit. You have Tatum and Brown, right? This playoffs. Tatum, 27 points per game. Brown, 22. The next best is Marcus Smart, 15.5. But I expect that to go down a little because when you're guarding Steph Curry, all his energy is going to be on the defensive side of the ball. Marcus Smart really didn't have an an incredible hard match. Like Kyle Lowry, was it Kyle Lowry or Tyler Hero? What I think it was Kyle Lowry.
Kyle Lowry,
Yeah, but like Kyle Lowry is very good, but he's not Steph Curry. So he was still able, Marcus Smart was still able to do his thing on the offensive side of the ball. But when it comes to Steph Curry, one of the best point guards ever, one of the best point guards in the league, it's gonna be a tough task for Marcus Smart. So I see the scoring dropping. And the one thing I'm afraid of, if you're the Boston Celtics, that third scorer, like that third option, right? Like you have Tatum and Brown. They're both over 20 points per game. And I think you can rely on both of them. Obviously, the Warriors are no slouches on defense either, which is a shock for most people because the Warriors were known for obviously the Splash Brothers and with Kevin Durant offense. But if you're going to have a game where the Warriors are going to score over 100, right? Like that's the Warriors score. Like the Heat weren't a consistent enough threat offensively for the Celtics to be, I guess, scared of not having like droughts throughout the game. You can't really have droughts when you have Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Jordan Poole, who are all three great scorers. And then you have Andrew Wiggins, who is no slouch scoring. It's just, it's a lot if you're Boston. And I think defensively, they're great, but their strengths interior, right?
Yeah.
Like, would you say that, Jared? Besides Marcus Smart, like their strength interior.
I agree. But yeah.
Like if you had to choose one, their strengths interior. What is the Warriors' strength on offense?
Exterior.
That's the thing. So something's gonna give, right? Like something's gonna give. Like, do the Warriors really want to go inside? And I don't really expect them to go inside. Like they're gonna rely on the three, and that's what the Warriors do. Obviously, that's a hit or miss because teams that rely on three can kind of go cold and go hot. But the defensively is important for the Celtics. For me, they need a third score or a consistent enough third score. Even though Marcus Smart was fine to get in the playoffs so far, 15.5 points per game. But I think a tougher matchup for him defensively maybe lessens his scoring.
Yeah, and I think the Warriors, their strength is definitely the exterior with the three: Poole, Klay Thompson, even Wiggins, Curry. But I do think that when they finally to get that rhythm on the exterior, they do need interior offense. Because if you saw in the Maverick series, like they were closing out hard to these guys, and they were just going right by them, getting easy layups time after time after time. That wears down a defense. But if they're not driving at all, if you got Robert Williams and Al Horford in this on the court at the same time, I don't think. I mean, they're going to close out hard. They're going to close out hard. But like Curry, Poole, and Klay, if they keep going down, driving and getting blocked or just not making layups, having contested finishes, they're not going to have the confidence to just keep driving. But yes, I very much do agree that the exterior defense of the Celtics is going to come down to be very crucial. And Derek White's pesky, Marcus Smart's obviously defensive player of the year. I think a big move that the Celtics could make is maybe running Grant Williams at the 5, because on the pick and rolls, Al Horford, Robert Williams, they tend to play it under and kind of stay down. And against the Warriors, you can't do that. You got to hedge hard. And I think Grant Williams would be like the perfect candidate to do that. The only issue is if Kevon Looney just getting boards. So you saw in the Maverick series, he got like a ton of offensive rebounds. So that's also like, as the coach of the Celtics, you're going to have to, give and take a little bit, play around with your roster.
I'm looking at I like that idea, right? You play Grant Williams at the 5, right? Does that hinder your offensive ability on the other side of the other side of the court? If you're the Celtics, they love that pick and roll with Horford, right? Like they like that pick and roll a ton. So do this Warriors with Kevin Looney, but Horford's a much better offensive threat than Kevin Looney. Does that affect? I think that affects a little bit the Celtics offensively. Obviously, the name of the game, you have to give some to you're gonna have to lose some if you want to add something on the defensive end. You're gonna lose some offense. That's what I'm trying to get.
See, I disagree because when Grant Williams could shoot that 3 ball and you space out the floor.
Yeah, 40% from 3 in the playoffs so far.
Yeah, you space out the floor. I mean, it's gonna be hard to help on the drive. If Jason Tatum takes his man, beats his man, he could maybe get layups all day. Same with Jaylen Brown, who's been driving really well. And then do you help on that? You got an open man for 3. So I think if they play it well and right, it won't hinder their ability. But yeah, if they're still just shoving Grant Williams on the block, I think they'll know how to use Grant Williams like a Draymond Green, set that pick, and he could pop too. Yeah. So it depends how they utilize him on the offensive side.
Yeah, it's interesting because that's obviously that's the decision the Celtics have to make. They're gonna have to figure out what lineup works the best. Because one, you can't run. They don't run it a lot, but Al Horford, Robert Williams, not
Yeah,
together. Like that just doesn't.
that's not going to work
It's
against
not gonna work at
unless
all.
Draymond Green's playing because Al Horford could maybe Draymond and Kevin Looney at the same time.
You're still losing speed on the perimeter because Green likes to be on the perimeter. Obviously, doesn't shoot and like he's not
Yeah,
a legit offensive threat, but he'll move the ball, he'll cut and all that stuff. I don't know if Robert Williams and Al Horford really want to be doing that.
yeah, they're
40
not.
minutes, 30 minutes a game. Like they could do a couple possessions, but obviously it's just not in their skill set.
No, I agree.
But like, yeah, you're gonna have to give or take if you're the Celtics. It's a different matchup for the Celtics. It's like a much different matchup than Miami, because you have Bam, who's a true center, like Kevin, who's a legit like scorer. Kevin Looney's not a legit scorer. Kevin Looney's had a very good.
You can score, yeah. But.
He's had a good very postseason, but like that's not what you're focused on. If you're Boston, I just think it's gonna be very interesting how they match up. We'll see in game one. We'll see on Thursday in game one how they match up.
And another thing, when we were talking about, the third scorer on the Celtics,
Yeah,
I don't think they need.
I'm not saying they need.
Yeah.
I think like you're gonna get in. Every team does this. You're gonna get. It's part of basketball. It's part of sports. You're gonna get in droughts, right?
Yeah.
And Tatum and Brown are gonna be guarded against Draymond, and it's gonna be a tough matchup for obviously all-star players. That's just what it is. You're gonna need that third score to maybe get you out of that drought or a little like contribute down the stretch.
Yeah, and I think guys like maybe even Pritchard for a couple of minutes, but
Yeah,
especially Derek White, he's been shooting 25% from three. I mean, he's been hitting good shots in the last game they had.
27% from three is nothing special.
Yeah, but exactly. But he's got to start making those shots.
You know what? Like that's very important because Marcus Smart, like I said, he's probably their third best scorer. He's having more points than Al Horford. So you can say whatever you want there, but Marcus Smart's probably their third best scorer in points per game in this playoffs. He's gonna obviously have a lot of on his hand with Steph Curry. He'll still be able to score, but it's a lot to deal with the Steph Curry. Derek White cannot shoot 27%.
Yeah, that's bad because when
can't be on the floor.
When Jason Tatum's getting double teamed.
Yeah,
you need to keep them honest and not, hey, you can't just double me every time, and so you could kick it out. So it just keeps the defense honest, or else they're going to do it all game. Then you lose your top scorer that whole game.
You can make up that with against Miami because Miami is not as good of an offensive threat. Then I'm not trying to downplay Miami. They had a very, very good season. Went to Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals, but Miami was not as talented as Boston. Not obviously nowhere near as talented as Golden State, and they were banged up. Like Jimmy was banged up, Tyler Hero was banged up, Kyle Lowry was banged up. You're relying on Gabe Vincent and Max Strus, who came out and played. Yeah. But it just wasn't the same with the injuries and just the lack of consistent production. You're gonna have to Derek White can't shoot 27% from three. Like that just can't be an option. And really, after Derek White and Marcus Smart, like Peyton Pritchard, like he's played 13 minutes point. He's averaging 13 minutes a game this postseason and only averaging 5 points. Like it's gonna take a lot for them to rely on Peyton Pritchard. Obviously, you have Tatum and Brown. But
Pritchard's like a spurt kind of guy.
He's gonna come. Aaron Nesmith doesn't really play. Yeah. So like Derek White's gonna be very almost an X factor.
Crucial.
White. Yeah, he's gonna be super crucial. 27% from downtown will not cut it. Averaging 8 points a game, but his shooting, he's shooting 38% from the field. So he's not shooting from 2-pointers, he's shooting 47%.
He likes his floater.
Yes.
When he get into the paint, that does cause problems,
But I want to say right now, he is nowhere near an offensive threat from outside.
No, definitely not.
27%. He could be, but this playoffs, he's not been anywhere near an offensive threat. I want to flip to Golden State because I know we broke down Boston for a little, and I want to say this because look, home court advantage is very important. So I have all these stats I'm going to give you guys quickly. I don't want to bore you with stats. The Golden State Warriors, Jared, this playoffs were 9-0 at home in the 2022 playoffs. They were 9-0. They haven't lost.
Jeez, I didn't know that.
The Warriors on the road were 3-4.
Okay.
So the Warriors kind of gave or take. They were dominant at home. You can't be more dominant than 9-0. But on the road, they're almost a 500 team. So they were 3-4. Obviously, they didn't play a lot of road games in the Dallas series. Boston at home, 5-4, which is This stat also might help Boston too.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
see
give you
what
the
you're saying.
stats, and you're gonna after the final stat, you're gonna be like, Peter, this doesn't help us anyway because can't really give or take. Ready? Boston on the road was 7-2.
Yeah, that's
So the
good.
best strength for Golden State in the home and road matchup this year was at home. The best strength for Boston in the home and road matchup was the road.
Yeah.
In a 7-game series, the Warriors are have home court advantage. The Warriors have more home games, strengths them, but the Celtics have more road games, strengthens them. So where that gets you, absolutely nowhere. But I just wanted to point that out because I found that fascinating that Boston was better on the road, Golden State was better at home, but Boston was a little better at home than Golden State was on the road. Whatever. Look, the strength for Boston's on the road. The strength for Golden State was at home. Obviously, you would rather be at home. Like I know the stat tells you that.
Especially cross country.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're right. This is much different than flying to Miami.
Yeah.
And or playing Brooklyn, or like who do they play in the conference?
Milwaukee.
Thank you. Anywhere near they're going all the way to San Francisco. So look, Boston's better on the road. Golden State's better at home. Something's gonna give. Something's gonna give. So that'd be very interesting. Golden State 9-0 at home. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think the Celtics. This is just me. It's like no fact or anything, but I think the Celtics thrive more, which is kind of, a normal thing. They strive more without any pressure. Because when they're away, they're not like. I mean, they're expected to win, but it's like, oh, if you lose a road game, it's like not a huge thing. But yeah, and when they're home, they have a ton of pressure on them. So I think the pressure does get to them a little bit. They're a young team,
And the thing with the Warriors at home, why they're not, they shoot so well at home.
Oh yeah,
there's just something about them being home, like Klay Thompson, like you said.
Just the momentum, the fans cheering.
Yeah, man, they hit 2 threes, and that is something. If you're Boston, it's gonna be a gut punch to you in game one because you're gonna hear that crowd go nuts because there's gonna be a sequence, right? You gotta be ready for this. Like it's gonna happen where a Klay 3, a Poole 3, a Curry 3, and then a Klay 3, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Like 4 straight threes or 4 out of 5 threes or 3 out of 4, whatever. And that place is gonna lose your mind. Like
they'll be down by 9, then all of a sudden they're up by 6. You're like, what the heck just happened?
Yeah. And Boston's gonna have to rebound. And this is a team that has never been to an NBA Finals. Ready for this? The Warriors, I don't know if you saw the stat. I saw this today. I think it was ESPN, but whatever. Warriors have a combined over 100 games in the NBA Finals. So all their players combined on this current roster have played a combined over 100 games in the NBA Finals.
And they're fairly young.
Yes. Golden State, the Boston Celtics have played 0 combined games in the NBA Finals. So nobody on this team has made it to the NBA Finals. On this Boston Celtics team, nobody has made a single NBA Finals. Look, you can say that doesn't matter. Boston's going to win. Yeah, you could totally say that. But that's a factor. That's 100% a factor. Golden State knows what the heck they're doing. Golden State, Steve Kerr knows what they're doing. Klay Thompson knows what they're doing. Green and Curry, all the guys that are going to be vital. Like Wiggins hasn't been here, neither is Poole. But I'm assuming they know what they're going to have to do. Curry and Thompson drill it into their brains. Like,
it's all about veteran leadership at this point.
Yeah. So look, Celtics do have veteran leadership, like Tatum and Marcus Smart. Not Tatum. Tatum's still, he's getting up there, but he's young.
Horford.
I meant Horford and Smart. That's where I was going. A veteran leadership, but never been to an NBA Finals. So there's nothing they can back themselves up with. You know what? I've done this in 2010, 2012. Golden State can, and they've succeeded. Outside of the Cleveland Cavaliers series when LeBron came back from 3-1, they've succeeded in the NBA Finals. So those are a couple stats you just love to see because there's always those kind of cool stats. But Golden State, like Klay Thompson averaging 19.8 points per game, Curry almost at 26, Wiggins at 15, Poole at 18. Like they have 4.
They're going to score the ball.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So Boston's going to have to score too. Like I don't expect these games to be like in the 80s and 90s.
No, yeah, I agree.
Like, unless Boston just dominates.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. But if it's a back and forth, I expect Golden State to score.
Yeah, what would you say is like your, key factor for not key player, doesn't have to be a key player, but like what do the Warriors have to do right on offense or defense to win the game?
Like I could say they could shoot threes, obviously, but I think if they somehow become on offense a threat in the paint.
Yeah.
Like not even good. Just become a threat.
Yeah.
Like just become a threat. Like that's what Derek White has to do. Become a threat from outside. Not
Mhm.
even, we're not telling you knock down 8 threes in a row, but become somebody like the defense has a focus on. Like Golden State in the paint hasn't become like they're not dominant in the paint. But if Boston's like, you know what, we got to stop three, like what Dallas does, and we
Yeah.
just drive right by them, and then they become and they start scoring in the paint. This could be a long.
Getting the Holford or Rubber
Yeah,
in foul trouble. Like,
yeah, I think it would be a. I don't think this is a blowout series by any stretch. Like I don't
yeah.
think people like Golden State in 5 or Boston 6, whatever. I don't think by any stretch this is a blowout series. But if Golden State somehow becomes a legit threat in the paint and consistent enough, I'm
Yeah.
not saying it's gonna be over early like in the series, but Boston's gonna because that's Boston's strength on defense is in the paint. That becomes a weakness. They can hit threes in the paint. It could be a long couple
Yeah.
games in the beginning of the series for Boston. What about you? What do you like if you're Golden State? You like we gotta say if they do this, they might not just win the series, they can win big in the series.
I would say it's offensive rebounding.
Yeah.
Celtics are a really good team on defense. However, they're very lackluster on the defensive rebounding. And like if we were talking, if they do play Grant Williams, because they'll probably only have Al or Robert Williams in, not at different times.
Yeah.
They got to get those defensive rebounds. Because if you're giving Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, or even Andrew Wiggins second chance shots or even third chance shots, I mean, they're not going to really miss those because they'll most likely be open. And it's just like a gut puncher, you force Steph Curry a bad three, he shoots, he misses.
Yeah, you can't do that.
You lose the rebound, he gets it back, he shoots another one. It's just like you play that defense so well, and then it's a very momentum crusher. And Kevin Looney's been doing really well at offensive rebounding. I know the Mavericks had Maxi Kleber trying to get boards, Dwight Powell. So it's obviously Celtics have a better chance, better players to do that. But I mean, you just saw I just tore apart the Mavericks when I remember one play, Kevin Looney got like 3 offensive rebounds, and on the third shot, they finally hit a 3. It's just like you can't let that thing. That stuff is gonna, not even help you lose. It's gonna make you lose. So yeah, for me, it's the offensive rebounding.
Yeah, like that sequences that happen. If you're on the road, if you're Boston, like
Especially, yeah.
And you also know that ball is eventually going in.
Yeah.
Like it's not, they're not missing eventually. Like you get all that, like that's going in. Like if you look at the rebounding stats, this is total rebounds. Wiggins averaging 7, Green at 6.9, Looney at 7.7. Those are 3 guys right on 7.5 points rebounds a game. That's some dominant fashion. Even Jordan Poole is 3, and you have Curry at 5 and Thompson at 4. They can rebound. They can like consistently rebound, and I agree. I think you're right. I think this anytime you play Golden State or anytime you play a legit 3-point shooting team, you have to
rebound the ball.
Limit the second chance points.
That's true. Yeah.
I also think this is way more of college basketball too. Like limit the second chance points. But this is an NBA too. Yeah, you can't. You give up consistent second chance points, you're gonna lose.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's. I don't think it's like that even a question. I think like you're gonna lose. And look, I think if you're Golden State, you want to. Obviously, you want to keep doing what you're doing. And let's say, like, if you get contribution from young guys like Kuminga averaging 7 points per game or Moody 4 in the playoffs, like those guys off the bench, because we've seen Kuminga this year and has some great games. So he'll be, I'm not saying he's vital to the team, but you never
No,
know.
I think those two, Moody and Kuminga, I think they will get PT just because the size of Tatum.
More Kuminga than Moody, but yes, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But Kuminga's, I agree. More Moody. He's been seeing a lot more floor, but I mean, they're going to be maybe someone's in foul trouble, throw them in. Okay, D up, Jason Tatum, G up, Jaylen Brown, and they're going to have to come in there. They're rookies coming into the finals, guarding top 20 players in the league.
Yes.
That's going to be crucial for the Warriors too. They're going to win that battle, and if they do, Celtics got to win that battle on the other side.
Yeah. If you're Boston, like I said, like Derek White has to step up, Marcus Smart has to step up. I think it's pretty simple there. Tatum he's had a couple games where it's a little stinkers. But
no, he has, yeah.
Tatum, 37% from 3 in the playoffs, 44% from the field. Brown, 48% from the field, 38% from downtown.
Well, the thing with Tatum, he's got to limit those turnovers. He has 77 turnovers in 18 games this playoff.
4 turnovers a game.
And yeah, he's got 18 more than the next highest player, But that is to his fairness, not to his fairness. He's got to be better with the ball. but he's getting double teamed a lot. And if his guys, like we said before, if his guys aren't hitting that three, I mean, they're going to keep coming at him. He's going to have to keep chucking the ball, and he has turned it over a bunch. So he's got to, you can't turn the ball over against the Warriors. They'll take advantage of that.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Warriors turnovers per game, like throughout their whole all their players through the playoffs. Nobody averages more than 3 turnovers a game. The highest is 2.8, and that is Draymond Green.
Yeah,
Warriors don't turn the ball basketball over. If you look
Yeah.
at Boston, Tatum 4.3, Brown 3. That's about it. And then like Smart 2.2, and that's really it for like their guards because they're not really super deep.
No, they're not.
Legit
Celtics are
minutes.
deeper, I'd say, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, I think if you're Golden State, you can't turn the other way around. If you're Boston, you can't turn the ball over because Golden State hasn't been really turning the ball over. Curry over.
And if you are Boston, you know, you have a good defensive team, force the Warriors to play a game that they're not used to playing, you know?
Yeah. Well, Curry's only averaging 2.6 turnovers and 6 assists. Like that's a very good good ratio. Like Tatum's ratio is 6 assists to 4 turnovers. That's not a great ratio. But if you're Boston, you want to focus. Obviously, you got to focus on that 3-point shot, but you don't want to over focus where you leave your interior defense kind of vulnerable when you get, because Horford and Williams are getting in foul trouble. Like that's just gonna happen. Like,
and who's their third center off the bench? I mean, is it Grant Williams?
It's Grant Williams. Right?
Yes, that could be a problem, you know.
And do Williams and Horford not become that important in the series? Like that, I think they'll become important, but do we see one of them lose legit minutes because of how Golden State plays and how Golden State's lineup like is focused?
I think the only one that would lose minutes is Robert Williams.
Yeah, I think you go Horford over Williams, but I think Williams is a better defender than Horford.
Yeah, but he's not.
Horford gives you more offensive threat.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm telling you, this is people like
chess, not checkers, you know?
No, people don't want to dissect like matchups and like stuff like that. And that's exactly what we're doing here. Like how Boston uses Grant Williams, Robert Williams, and Al Horford. Those 3 guys are going to be super critical because if you screw that up, and you'll find out very quickly if you screw that up. So they'll fix it. But you'll find out really quickly if you mess that up. But how they go about that is super interesting. Like Robert Williams, Al Horford won't see playing time together. Like that's just not going to happen. You could
unless they do come out and do it, and then they just start dominating them.
Well, like what if you do a Robert Williams and Grant Williams? There's a lot of Williams, but Robert Williams and Grant Williams lineup, right? Like that gives you a lot of versatility on the defensive side of the ball. But offensively, I know Grant Williams has been better, but you lose offensively right there. Like that just you kind of hinder your offensive ability there, but your defensive ability gives you way more stretches, like flexibility to switch. Because I think Grant Williams can guard 3 through 5, and I also think Robert Williams is much more flexible defender than Al Horford is.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
but you go Al Horford, Grant Williams. It's just how Boston uses their big men is going to be interesting. I expect Grant Williams' playing time to go up.
And I will say with Robert Williams, he's got to learn. I mean, he's got some remarkable blocks from the perimeter, but he's got to learn not to foul, but not to jump at every shot. Because I feel like wait, what?
You'll get called for it right away.
Oh, yeah.
Every time.
Yeah. No, like, I mean, I know these Warrior shooters, they're going to know, okay, this guy could block my shot from over there. They're going to throw one mean pump fake, and Robert Williams, this guy could really knock down a 3. I'm going to jump. And then not even like he might not get fouled, but they're just going to go right by them, you know?
Yeah.
So he's got to learn to stay on his feet for most of the time.
Steph Curry's been in the league long enough to
exactly, yeah.
No, so is Klay Thompson, so is Draymond Green. Like they know what the heck they're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jared, we broke down the NBA Finals, guys. We gave you.
I want to say one more thing.
Oh, keep going. What do we got?
Yeah. So I mean, we kind of pointed at it, but we know where we're getting from Curry. Klay Thompson's always a wild card. You don't know if he's going to hockey.
With coming back from the injury, yeah.
Yeah, coming back from the injury. But also Wiggins is going to be crucial, not only on the offensive side, but the defensive side.
He's a good defender.
He's a good defender. He's going to be the one probably on Jaylen Brown. I want to see who they're going to put on who, because I don't think
because
Draymond's not going to be able to guard Jaylen Brown. I don't think Draymond could guard Jason.
I think what I would do, I would put Draymond on Tatum.
But like, can he guard Tatum?
Yeah, and then a help.
Yeah,
they're going to double him, like you said. You're right. They're going to double him.
It's always frustrating watching them double him every time. And
why not? Because Derek White has not been a threat from outside. Marcus Smart is not a consistent enough scorer from the outside.
Yeah.
Like Like Marcus Smart's good, and I like Marcus Smart a lot, but like he's not Steph Curry. So why not double team Tatum?
No, I agree. It's a
You have
smart
to.
move until they prove that, oh, you can't double team.
Yeah, but I would Draymond Green on Tatum, right? That's what I would do, and then I would put Wiggins on Brown, and then you have Curry and Thompson kind of floating with the double, but on White and Smart, and that also frees up Curry and Thompson to score more because it's less, I guess, stress defensively, which is what you see with Smart going against Curry, which will hinder his offensive ability.
Yeah, that's true. Mm.
And if Draymond can go, I think Wiggins could guard Jason Tatum, but then who guards?
I think Wiggins is the best person to guard Jason
But
Tatum.
then who guards Jaylen Brown?
That's the problem.
But
Yeah,
I think you're
Klay
better off.
Thompson. I think Klay Thompson could guard Jaylen.
But I think 2 years ago, Klay Thompson could guard Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown is a little wild.
I think Klay Thompson could, but do we see Boston or Golden State just kind of just mix it up and see what works best, right? Like, do we start the game with Draymond on Tatum and Wiggins on Brown, right? And then maybe it doesn't work. We switch Wiggins on Tatum and we go Thompson on Brown and see what the heck happens. Yeah. I really, if you're going to say, I wish they had Gary Payton.
Yeah, he's still indecisive.
Like he would guard.
I think Gary Payton is coming back.
Is he playing?
I think he's playing. I don't know if he's playing at the start, but he's playing. I just looked that up before we started this.
Because I would love.
And Iguodala might play too. Otto Porter still questionable.
He's also not a bad defender. Could Gary Payton, in your minds, match up against
Jaylen Brown? No.
Yeah, you don't think so?
Actually, he's pesky. But I just think the size of Jaylen Brown is too much.
He would be the guy that would flip and double team.
He might be able to, but I think Jaylen Brown's too big for him.
Yeah, May 29th, AP Sports came out. The Golden State Warriors are likely to see Gary Payton back for the NBA Finals, and the team says Andre Iguodala and Otto Porter Jr. on the mend too. So they're in practices. I think there's a chance that we see Gary, maybe not game one, but we'll see. I think there's a chance we see Gary Payton back in the playoffs or back in the finals.
That'd be cool. I like Gary.
Huge addition to Golden State on defensive. He's a pain in you know what? Like he'll be he's like his dad.
Yeah, he's in your head, especially like Marcus Smart. I can see them going at it.
Yes, yeah. So
back to my point with Wiggins, not only the offensive side too, he's kind of like the best, I say, driver on the team, best attacker.
Yeah, him and Jordan.
If he could start driving, I'm sure Jaylen Brown or Tatum will be on him. Get them in foul trouble, that would be crucial. So he's got to attack the basket, open up stuff from the shooters too.
I know. Yeah, I completely agree. I know we didn't mention Jordan Poole that much, but 18 points per game, 53% from the field, 39% from three. He's having such an underrated.
No, he is. He's playing really well.
He's
like a mini Curry.
Yeah, he's been balling out. JR, we broke down the NBA Finals. We kind of gave you our 2 cents on the Celtics, the Warriors, the matchup, and what we like to see. But now, like we said before, guys, comment down below who you guys got in the NBA Finals, and maybe in how many games. But if not, comment down below. JR, I think I know who you're going, but we'll see what happens. Who do you got in the finals, and how many games are they winning it?
All right, so the Celtics overall depth, size, and defense might be a little too much for the Warriors, but on the Warriors side, Celtics turnovers, foul trouble, and second chance points given up might pit the Warriors on top and overpower the Celtics. However, I'm going Celtics in 7.
I knew it was coming. You were going both sides. I knew it was coming. I knew you're right. Well, that's a fair prediction. Boston in 7. Imagine they win in Game 7 in Golden State.
That'd be insane.
That would be tough. That'd be insane. What I'm going here, I got a gut feeling. I like Golden State. I like Golden State in 6.
Ooh.
I like Golden State taking care of Boston. I just think it's Golden State. Again, there's just something just watching the Warriors play. And I think we're going through all the analytics. And like I said, my biggest thing for me, Golden State's 9-0 home in the playoffs. Like I said, Boston's been great on the road too. So something's going to have to give. If I'm going to bet on something to give, Boston on the road, because it's much harder to win on the road. So I say that gives a little. I like Golden State's experience. Over 100 combined games in the NBA Finals. Boston has 0 combined games in the NBA Finals. Experience wins a lot of times. I think Boston's going to give one hell of a fight in this series. They're not like, I know people are like Golden State in 4, Golden State in 5 on Twitter. No, I like Golden State in 6. Like if Golden State wins in 4 or 5, Jesus, what the heck happened? But I like the series, no matter who wins, going past 5 games. I get going past 5 games. Obviously you agree. At Boston in 7. I've Golden State in 6. But I just there's something about Golden State.
Celtic. I know. I'm just pumping on my Celtics pick.
Well, you got it.
They faced the Nets, beat the Nets, which is a lot of people's favorites to win and all.
Yes.
Beat the former champs, Milwaukee Bucks, Greek Freak. They really good team. I know they were missing Chris Middleton for a little bit. Beat the Heat, went to the finals against LeBron. Jimmy Butler played amazing, still overcame that. And I just think their overall depth, and you got to start somewhere. I know they don't have any appearances. You got to start somewhere,
They'll have some appearances after the series. That's for sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
Look, Jared, we both picked it. We both picked right. We kind of messed up the games a little. Even I think I had Boston in 7 in the conference finals, but we both picked Boston to win over the Miami. We both picked Golden State over Dallas.
Yeah.
So something has to give, guys. We both were 2-0 in the conference finals. One of us have to be wrong. I got Golden State in 6. Jared's Boston in 7. Guys, comment down below.
Do you have Curry MVP?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I got Jason Tatum. So
Curry's never won. We talked about this off air, but Curry's never won one, so they're gonna give.
I think Iguodala comes in Game 7.
Oh yeah. Iguodala wins one.
Shot.
Gary Payne wins it.
Yeah.
Look, if there's let's say we can end the segment. We can end the show quickly here with if you say Boston won the series, right? That's who you got. Boston 7. Let's say it wasn't Tatum, who would it be? Jaylen Brown.
I would say Jaylen Brown, depending
Marcus
on
Smart.
how good Marcus Smart is on shutting down Curry. If he does, I think it's Marcus Smart. And puts up 15 a game, shuts down one of the best scorers of all time. You could give it to Smart.
My Golden State one would be, I think when I say political, I don't mean politics. I know people use that term. When I mean political, I mean political in the NBA, in sports terms. If it wasn't Curry, it'd probably be Green or Thompson.
So one of the core 3,
You would have to, but I think Jordan Poole. How massive would it be if Jordan Poole won a freaking NBA Finals MVP?
Yeah,
that would be on.
But do you think that would hurt Curry's? That'd be a punch to Curry. I mean, he'd be happy because he won the final.
Yeah, it depends how bad he played in the series.
I think political. Warriors win it no matter what. Curry's winning.
What if Curry averages? Oh, this would be weird. 14 points. Like I said, LeBron Heat against Dallas, 14 points per game.
Then they're not winning the game.
Well, let's say they do. You never know. Tatum gets. Oh, I'm not gonna say injured because I don't want to go for that. But I mean, crazy stuff happens in Boston, and then Jordan Poole averages 30.
Okay. Yeah.
But if let's say they can't give it to Curry or whatever, right? And Thompson averages 20 and Poole averages 22. They're giving it to Thompson.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
But Poole winning an Finals MVP, it's like Andre Iguodala winning a Finals MVP. He deserved it, but it's just
yeah,
you don't see it coming. Guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We appreciate everyone that likes, comments, and subscribes to the YouTube channel. This was our NBA Finals preview, and once again, Jared, I can't believe over 4,700 or 4,500 people actually.
We gotta put more soccer content out.
Watch us, guys. If you guys want more soccer content, we'll do World Cup.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
We'll break down the whole field. We'll bore you guys.
We could do maybe a Premier League,
Oh, yeah, guys. You'll see. You know what, Jared? You're right. Premier League. We'll talk.
I keep saying Premier.
Yeah, we'll talk. Hey, say Prem and you won't mess it up.
Yeah, that's true.
I say official. Prem. People say Prem and it's official. But guys, we appreciate you guys commenting and liking, and Apple Podcasts as always. But YouTube channel almost 1,500 subscribers. That is freaking awesome, guys, and it means a lot to both of us. But JR, before we sign off, where can everyone find us on social media?
Yeah, please follow us. You're watching this, follow us on Talking Sports PD, Instagram, Twitter, so you could keep up when we post videos, when we push polls, stuff like that, day-to-day stuff. And don't forget you could also listen on Apple Podcasts. If you're in the car driving, turn it on, listen to us talk. And then, of course, YouTube. Please subscribe. Almost the 2K. No,
we're getting there. We're getting
there. But
we'll get there.
That's the goal. So please, if you're watching this, give us a like, subscribe, comment your predictions. Want to hear your feedback.
Yeah, guys, Twitter and Instagram are huge because you post every time a video's out, so you get notified right away. When the video's out, you guys can come check us out. Like Jared said, Apple Podcasts, if you want to listen to us in the car. For some reason, YouTube's annoying where you can't close your thing and listen. Obviously, it's a YouTube video. I get it, but it'd be kind of dope if you could. But YouTube guys, as always, JR has the Boston Celtics taking home the Larry O'Brien Trophy in 7 games. I got the Golden State Warriors taking home the Larry O'Brien Trophy in 6 games. Until next time, this was the Talking Sports podcast hosted by Peter DiBiasi and John Rocco and Trumpbour. Hopefully, you guys enjoy the finals. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the episode. Until next time, thank you.